Still gonna mention Tupac.
Bam, Mike Young, stories that need to be told. Sitting here, stock tip Dave's exhausted. He got us here safely today. He picked me up. His driving wasn't great, but he got us here. It was fine. I think you need to work on you got to find a good balance between aggressiveness, assertiveness, and athleticism in your driving. We almost crashed 3 times.
No,
we parked, and then I hit the door on the thing. But, yo, we're here. My brother was just in town. Love when my brother comes to town. He was here for 2 days. He was in San Diego doing big things. My brother's like in the restoration business. So he handles all Dan Gilbert and like all of Detroit's major properties downtown, 90 buildings. Anything that goes down, you call my brother.
Yeah.
And last time on the podcast, we were talking about I didn't know that I was on TV. I was very lucky. I got to go to the Cavs. I went to Game 7 against Indy. I went to Game 5 against Toronto when they took them out. No, it was Game 5. They didn't sweep Toronto. Did they sweep them? You're allowed to talk, Dave.
Yeah, they swept them.
You're on camera, too. They swept Toronto. Okay, so it was Game 4, so they swept them. So yeah. I did a movie called Grounded with Aaron Paul and Jeff Daniels that's not out yet. But Dan Gilbert, who owns the Cleveland Cavaliers and he owns Quicken Loans, he's a great dude. He financed the movie. Personally, he financed it through his own company. Long story short, we became good friends, and I was in Detroit at the time of the playoffs, and so I was texting him back and forth. He's like, "Yo, come to the game." So when you go to a game with that, you don't ever know like where you're sitting. Is it going to be in the suite with the chicken tenders? Are you going to be floating around with a badge, but with no? You don't know what's going to go on. But that particular game, Game 5 Game 7 against Indy, was one of the greatest games I've ever seen in my life. And you get a call from his assistant, humble brag, and you get a call and she's like, "Be at the airport, wheels up at 11:30. Your private plane tail number is 303-262, whatever. Your name's on the list. Just show up." It's just a brainless operation. You just show up. Somebody says, "Hello, what's your name?" "Hey, I'm Mike Young." "Here you go, Mike." Walk up to the plane. There's a G4 just sitting there on the tarmac waiting for me. Not for just me, but there's like 8 of us going on the plane. So, boom, get on the plane. Dan's assistant comes over, hands you a badge. You don't know what the badge means. You don't know what it says. It's just a badge. You get that, everyone gets on the plane. You're just excited. You're keeping your excitement down to a minimum because you're on
courtside?
Yeah, bro. I was getting to that. I was getting to that. You get the badge. If you've ever been in a private plane, it's crazy because you take off in 1 second. It's just like, whoop, and you're in the air. You're floating in a tiny machine. And you feel every turbulent, even though it's only a 19-minute flight to Cleveland. So, boom, we get to Cleveland, and, we land. Once again, I don't know where I'm sitting, but then his assistant goes, "Okay, you're on the floor. You're in seat 10. I don't know where that is. I don't know what that is. I know it sounds like a great seat. Long story short, get to the game. Boom, sit in my seat. I'm right under the basket, sitting right next to Dan and his son Nick, and it's one of the greatest games ever. Cleveland won the game, obviously. And it was just a cool experience. And I recommend if you can find a really wealthy friend out there in the world, people, or if they find you, you never know what's going to happen in Hollywood. But they're really fun to be around, especially if they're cool. And Dan Gilbert, and I've met some wealthy people out here in Hollywood and some people who've done huge things in business that are not cool, that are just abusive, power hungry, trying to, pull their bullshit. I've been to their house parties where they're like the aggressive dude who's got all the money and they're like not cool to girls. The whole hashtag Me Too shit, that's real. That shit is real. And Dan is the opposite. He is he's almost like a street dude. You know what I mean? Like, he'll smack you. If there's a scrappy fight, he might forget that he's a billionaire and get into it with you. He's just that type of dude.
I think I met his son with you last summer.
Yeah, I took him to Goal. His son Nick was in town. He was doing an internship. And here in LA, I took him to Goal. And his son Nick picks the lottery pick for the Cavs. And so, unfortunately, Nick has had this we're going to get back to that story. This is a part of our show where we do call in. This is Bret Ernst, great comedian. Bret Ernst.
Yo, what up?
Well, yo, what up? You sitting in a hotel room, half sleeping? at 2:30 in the afternoon in
No,
the East?
I had to run. Had to run to CVS.
CVS. You get those chewable vitamins.
Right. Well, dude, the way I timed it out, it would have been at 2:30. But there was some guy in front of me trying to buy phone cards on a fucking gift card.
On a burner phone?
Yeah, it's like I'm like, yeah, I'm in Jersey, man.
Is that where you are, Jersey?
20 minutes. Yeah, I'm in Jersey right now.
Yo, Bret and I go way, way, way back. Even though even though I told him I was 42 years old for the last 9 years, Bret knows that. Bret is my brother. We were on the Young American Comedy Tour together. Before that, he was one of the first people I met. Bret, do you even remember how we met, like at the store?
Yeah, of course, I remember.
Give it to me, bro. You got the best memory in the game. It's because he's never smoked pot, ever.
I was in West Hollywood, and you were dancing at some bar. And, it was at the Cat Club, man. It was at the Cat Club.
Oh, was that Ahmed's room?
No, man. It was God, what was the dude's name? You did a set. It was at the Cat Club. I forgot who. It'll come to me. The guy who booked it.
Right, the Cat Club on Sunset, which is now Rockin' Riley's, isn't it? Or what is it now?
Yeah, it's next. Rockin' Riley's is next door, but not that it matters.
No.
But it's great because I remember you doing the material. I'm like, God, this guy's great. You know, you're still doing the same material.
Yo, how hard is it to write a new bit? Damn. Yo, you know what it is, Bret? You know what's so funny, man? You've stayed comedy. I mean, you are a badass, one of the best comedians, funniest dudes in the game. People love you. They quote your bits. Stock Tip Dave, who didn't really know about you until like a week ago when you met him, but he's been researching. He's like, he's got this really great bit about what was the one you just told me on the car ride here, Dave? What was it?
About his mom.
Which one?
Oh, about your mom tucking you in after you were jerking the jerk off bit, and you got tucked in.
Passed out.
He goes, I want to ask him if it was real. I said, let's not ask him if it was real. I'll do the talking, and we'll go from there.
And one of my friends brought up the roller skating thing that you were mentioning to us last week. I told him I met you, and then right away he knew the roller skating rink story.
Yeah, no, it's one of the best bits to the point where club owners around the country still talk about Bret's roller skating bit, and it's one of those things. It's like, oh, Bret, you can't get away from it. You're not getting away from it. Just embrace it. And by the way, stop opening your bag of Cheetos on the phone. I can hear it.
I'm not. I'm looking for my headphones.
I know your diet, bro. I know what you do.
Cheetos.
I know what you're doing.
But
I know you.
First off, I don't eat Cheetos. Okay, I got to stay in shape.
Okay. By the way,
I'm pushing 40, so I got to stay in shape.
You're pushing 40 backwards.
yeah, I was on your website this morning, and I couldn't stop laughing at that one bit you were talking about.
No, Bret's one of the best comics in the business. I've been with Bret through the ups and downs, right? Bret, have there ever been moments, Bret, where you were like, I'm throwing in the towel, bro. I can't stand this shit. No one's really paying attention. And then, boom, there's like that breakthrough moment.
You know, I realized that just recently is that once you get to a certain point, you've beaten the odds.
Mm-hmm.
And then from that point on, you're now playing the odds, if that makes any sense.
So basically, you're saying you get to a certain point and you're in the game. You're saying you're in the game. There's no turning back unless you just decide to go into real estate and call it a complete day. You're saying you're in the game. Now, how do you maneuver in the game?
Well, right. Well, like in other words, I think there's like a 6-7 year period that's a danger zone that people. They're like, I can get out now and I didn't commit. I can get out now and I didn't commit. But once you're like 15 or 7, past that 7 years, once you get past that point, you've beaten the odds. You're now in it. You're now in the game. And from this point on now, you start playing the odds. So eventually, the longer you're in, the odds start stacking in your favor, if that makes any sense.
Yeah, no, that makes sense, and I think it's probably because you found your groove and you found your voice as a comedian, and you're starting to get attention as a comic, and you're starting to be great at your craft. But then there's that other flip side where you start making your relationships, right, in the business. You start meeting people.
Well, yeah, I mean, you have friends that you've been friends with, you came up with, you grew with. But I think mostly as an artist, comedy is such a rare. It's such a rare thing, man. I mean, because in order to be doing it right, you have to have been doing it, in my opinion, at least 11 years to really know who you are. Now, don't get me wrong. You could put together a strong 15, 20 minutes in 7, 8 years and just rest on that for the rest of your career,
But to really dig
back in the 80s. Say what, buddy?
No, I was just saying, keep going. I was just saying, to your point, I was just saying, but to really dig in.
Right, to really be a stand-up, to be a Rogan or a Burr or those with a body of work and constantly putting out new material, like a Chappelle, you know what I mean, or a Chris Rock.
Yep.
You really got to submerge yourself into the business,
So,
and that's not saying that you can't hit. A lot of guys would hit at become famous and stop doing stand-up. I mean, these guys hit early, but kept not early, but you know what I mean.
Yeah.
They hit well into their career and they've never put the mic down. It's like Chris D'Elia is a good example of that too. Chris keeps working and working and working as a comic. Right. He doesn't stop.
No, you could tell D'Elia loves the craft.
Get a sitcom and quit.
Yo, I saw you talking to D'Elia at the Comedy Store, which is our home, and you were talking about like how back in the day and this and that, and I feel like I didn't meet D'Elia till like 2 years ago. Like, wait, I'm not kidding. Was he always hanging around the store, or where was I?
Yeah, dude, he's always been there, man. He's been there. Dude, I remember right when I had gotten passed at the store. Well, Chris has been acting since I think he was like 14. And he's been doing comedy since he was like 18.
I had no idea.
He was just a young dude, man. I remember every room I would see him at. Every room I would do at the Ha-Ha, like those offshoots, he was always there with a notebook. The kid worked his ass off, man. He really did.
I love that, man. Is there anything better than a fresh notebook to a comedian?
I have like 10 fresh notebooks with the first 2 pages.
Yeah. By the way, Bret.
And then a shit ton of napkins with just lines everywhere that I don't even know what I'm
No, your notes are a direct reflection of your whole style of life. You know what I mean? I know you're not an outliner. You don't write 7 concepts straight down a page. No. Your shit is on a shoe, on your wrist. It's on the back of a hat. Yeah. Yo, Bret and I, we've had. Let's just talk real quickly, and then we're gonna get to all the awesome shit you're doing right now, which nobody's shocked at, bro. You are definitely one of the funniest dudes. I'll get to your confrontational lifestyle in a minute, but how much fun did we have on the Young American Comedy Tour? And people bring it up to me once a week, and I don't. I've been doing so much other stuff that I don't have the physical or mental capacity to like re-up any idea of it or concept. But how much fun was that moment in time for us?
It was all right.
You ain't shit.
It's all right.
I love how that's such a loaded question.
No, but I mean,
it wasn't. What do you think? It's like that was the best, right? How much fun did we have?
No, but you know what's funny?
What am I gonna say?
Meanwhile, as
it was awful. You would get drunk. You'd hit on me.
Yo, meanwhile, I realize Bret's married now. It's like all the things that are running through my mind, maybe I can't even bring up. You know what I mean? Like the thing we just did so many. There were so many things.
I will say it's. I'm not just joking, man. It was one of the best times, man. Dude, because. When do you get to travel with all of your boys?
When Mike Young calls.
Well, dude, it was me, you, Burns, Sebastian, Butch Bradley jumped on it, Burt Kreischer. Ian Edwards did it too, Tony Rock.
Bobby Lee.
Bobby Lee. It was just great. And, especially with comedy where – like, when you're headlining on your own, like right now, I'm in a hotel room. I mean, granted, this is an exception because my family's here and I've been seeing some friends, but on the norm, you're by yourself, you sit in a room, just, napping.
Yeah. How many double nap days do you have?
It's like,
Ernst will double nap. No problem.
Double nap. You're rubbing one out on everything.
Everything.
It's like, I think Tom Segura has a joke about that. Or I'll just jerk off on the curtain.
Yeah. Comedy is filthy. That lifestyle.
But I'm saying, when you get to travel with your friends and get paid and just drink and do karaoke.
Yeah.
It's a lot of fun.
No, we had a ton of fun, and I'll never forget.
No wrecked hotel rooms?
No, we weren't rock and roll wrecking hotel rooms, bro. We were keeping it neat.
No,
you know
throwing televisions out of windows?
Nothing crazy. The worst thing we had was like Steve Byrne would get in a fight in an elevator and like come out, you know what I mean, with a chipped tooth and have to go to radio with a chipped tooth. You know?
Now, we weren't wrecking rooms because nobody was like out of control. Like, there was no blow and...
No, we were nothing. We were jogging together.
And Mike would smoke weed, drink Patron, and eat broccoli.
Broccoli and tequila.
By the way, that's his fucking secret to you.
Yeah.
Broccoli and tequila?
Bro, I invented it on the road. I felt great. You know what I mean? It's the road diet. If you can keep it light on the road, you're good.
Yeah, Mike just eats soup, broccoli, and Patron, and weed. That's his... And 18-year-old models. That's his diet.
Either that or the same diet as a 90-year-old slowly dying man.
Well, you like this really fancy tequila. I can't remember the name of it.
Don Julio.
Don Julio, that's right.
Yeah, it's been out there. Yeah, Don Julio and Yeho, slow sip. I've had one sip of tequila in 5.5 months. Everybody else is out there drinking now. You know.
I had a sip of tequila at Mitzi's. I did end up having a sip. But
I noticed. I didn't disappear, bro. I couldn't get a word in. There were so many, you know what I mean?
Get a word in. You were gone. What are you talking about?
No, I saw you up in the, no, I mean, there were so many people to see that we haven't seen forever, faces I didn't remember. There were like girls that I didn't remember from the store. They're like, hey, from like, 16, 17 years ago. That was heavy, man. That was heavy. It was very cool because no matter what you do in this career or this comedy world or this, Hollywood shit, at least for comedians, if you didn't get through, Mitzi Shore was the conduit to everything, and it changes your life. Yeah. And it literally changes your life because it gives you a stage to work your craft every single night for a long period of time until she doesn't like you anymore and then she doesn't book you as much. But that first moment of like, come here, you're a regular, bro. That was the best. Bret, are you brushing your teeth?
No, why?
I hear water. I hear scrubbing. I hear so many things, man. There's so much going on in Jersey in your hotel room right now. You can't sit still. By the way, anybody that knows Bret,
go ahead. I'm sorry, man. Go ahead.
No,
finish what you were saying.
I was just saying how great, all.
What's going on back there?
How all comedy roads have led to Mitzi Shore. I mean, she was a boss, bro. She was a female boss.
In that room, though, man. Dude, you think about how many people were there. That was crazy.
Jim Carrey.
Yeah, I saw Jim Carrey.
Walker to Jim Carrey.
All Jimmys in between. You know what I mean? Jimmy Walker, Jim Carrey, Jimmy Schubert, all the Jims. But seeing Jim Carrey was just rolling around. I mean, listen, man, it's a blessing. The Comedy Store changed my life. I didn't know what I was gonna do, bro.
What do you think the magic formula is for the Comedy Store? I have my opinion on it, but what do you think it is?
Do you mean the magic formula why it's booming right now, or the magic formula why it's such a place?
It's booming. I mean, why Comedy Store comedians are able to
because
pretty much do any room, any place, any scenario.
I think the magic, because in the Comedy Store, you've performed in front of 6 people, you've performed in front of 1 person, you've performed in front of 0 in the belly room like I used to do, repeat my shit in the mirror, you've performed in front of a packed house, you've performed in front of a crowd that hates you, a crowd that loves you, and just like boxing or any other thing that you got to practice and go through a war to get good at, I think it's the war zone, the boxing gym of comedy. It's the only place where every single... I've had girls stripping and making out on stage. It's everything. Everything that you can... Yeah. Every scenario possible in life for a performer happens in that building.
Yeah, you have to follow and do everything. I think though the number one key from doing this 21 years now.
Wow.
There's no MC, and we have to follow whoever just went up or whatever just went up.
Oh yeah, you guys have to introduce each other.
That's a great point.
Yeah, I've followed Chris Rock to Dice to just name them. I mean,
Yep.
and not more than once. So you're following you're following a comedy legend when you're a 7-year comic. You know what I mean? And
No
they just
doubt.
bring you up, and half the room is emptying out because they want to get an autograph or something, or it's just, I always thought that was the magic with that place, that was like the ultimate training. There's no buffer. There's nobody coming up, and it's just, all right, I'm going to bring up your next comic, and a lot of times they don't even know who you are.
Yep.
I remember coming up, I remember Dice goes to me one time, he goes, who? And I'm like, Bret Ernst. He goes, Brent?
No, it's funny.
Who is this? Right? And then he looks, he goes, oh, I've seen you hanging out. Then he goes, he goes, how tall are you? I go, I'm about 6'2". He goes, how much do you weigh? I go, I'm about 205. There's his intro.
Yeah, that's amazing. I mean, those are moments, man. Those are moments, and that's
You have to go up.
That's the beauty of the Comedy Store, and like, it's funny because financially it doesn't change you when you become a regular at the store. It doesn't change your lifestyle, but it almost flips a switch on your ego, right? It flips a switch and it lets you go, okay, now I'm in with like I'm in a place where all the greats. So then, you know what I mean? You get this like fire in your belly for a long time.
You could feel the greatness there. I used to do this analogy about the place. Peter Luger's in Brooklyn, right? The steaks.
Yeah.
The reason why they say the steaks are so good is because they haven't washed that pot, the cast iron pan. Because you're not supposed to. You just wipe it out. Then when you heat it up, it kills all the bacteria. And that they haven't. It's been the same pan for 50 years. And they say that's why those steaks are so good, because the pan has absorbed all of the flavors over the years. And I feel like that's the OR. There's been so many great comedians, so much dysfunction, so much crazy shit that went on there, that it's the energy there. Hey, hold on a second, okay? Hold on.
I don't even want to know. I don't even want to know what's going on over there.
Sounds like there's dishes or something breaking.
Sorry. I just.
They're so Bret. I know. Bret just like washed his toenail clippings down the sink.
Dude,
I don't want to know what's going on. Full blown self pedicuring. I know.
Around,
I know you're doing it, but so yeah. No, you're 100% right.
It's shtick. I'm doing shtick.
No, man, the comedy.
See? That's why I'm so funny. I'm doing shtick on the phone.
Yo, the best thing about Bret that people don't even know is Bret's offstage game is off the charts. Bret in Society should have been your show, bro, and maybe it still will be, but you've never seen a person pick a quick argument up and just run with it with facts. I don't even know Bret can read. And this motherfucker has facts from various newspapers, periodicals, shit no one's heard, firm, confident quotes from places around the world. I mean, Bret, I just have this picture of Bret, right? Remember, like 15 years ago, we're like in Miami somewhere. Tall, stunning, blonde models are at our show in Coconut Grove or wherever we are. I come out, I'm like so excited just to be on the road, meeting a new fine girl. I'm like, yo, we got like a pack of the girls. There's 3 of us. There's 3 beautiful girls. I come out, like I open up a door, and Bret is in a full political debate with a 6'1" stunning Brazilian model. She doesn't even know what he's saying. All I know is Bret is just talking his way out of a one-night stand quicker than anything I ever saw.
Yeah, you go. I've never seen one guy argue himself out of getting laid in my life.
Oh my God! He argued himself out of getting laid so many times on the road. But
here's because first of all, you exaggerate just a little stories, but that's
all right. Thanks.
You're not known for that, but there is truth to this. Okay.
Yeah.
There's truth to this. And the truth is that, especially at that time, I can't, and I've always had this problem. I can't placate. And I don't, and by the way, I'm not saying that like I keep it real. It's a problem. I've been working on it. You know what I mean? It doesn't mean just because, if you ask, I don't, and if you ask me my opinion, I'm going to fucking tell you.
Oh yeah.
That's how it used to be.
Yeah,
I didn't realize it's bad etiquette. You just keep it to yourself. But the thing that I hated, and I know specifically what you're talking about, and it's almost like I was biting my tongue on the Kill Tony show, is that because this Australian chick that was a DJ came up and
right.
talking about house music, and in America people do this, and whenever you're dealing with foreign people, they like to go in on us. You know what I mean? And and this chick was used to these hamster dudes going, yeah, you're right, we're stupid, yeah, we're and then I remember we got into it.
Yeah,
I'm
Bret,
like, why are you here then? All she was doing was crapping on America. Right. I did it for the country because I'm a patriot.
Right. Don't come at Bret with any anti-American DJ sentiment. Don't come here promoting your Brazilian house music. You know what I mean?
Can I just say something?
Yeah.
Okay. And I mean, of course, I'm trying to make this sound good, but
yeah.
A lot of these hot chicks are just used to everybody agreeing with them.
Of course. Of
You know what I mean?
course.
I know,
Are you
I know.
kidding? You're the diffuser, bro. You bring hot girls you bring them all down to a 6. All these girls, they have no idea. They get done talking to Bret, they go home, they rebrush their hair, they recheck their makeup. They can't believe how ugly they feel. By the way, Bret, I think it's a great thing. Fuck, you don't just walk around the earth like a beautiful, stunning Amazon getting told yes all day. No. Meet Bret Ernst. He'll put you right back in check. You know what I mean? Like a real relative.
No, listen, man. First of all, I was in my, back then I was in my 20s. I've calmed down a lot. Even in my...
Calm down.
I've calmed down, like, I'd say about 6-7 years ago. I really started calming down a little.
Listen, what's funny, Bret? To me, it's not about placating. It's about you only have so much energy left in life. Like, we only got so much. Where do you want to direct it? Think about it. Once you started putting it back on stage as opposed to in a hallway, you know what I mean, for no money,
yeah,
things start happening better for you. That's the point. It's just a shift.
A lot of that time you get, especially with your career, you get frustrated and you're not making money. You're delivering pizzas at 29 years old.
Yeah.
You're like, God, I could be doing so many other things, but I'm just going to stay the course and do this. And you got stuff in your personal life going on. And then, you're out in the parking lot and somebody wants to say, hey, Emmitt Smith was terrible. And then I'm just like, what are you, nuts? He had a 12 consecutive 100,000-yard season. And then you just take it out that way. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and then it ends up, all of a sudden, you look out the back of the comedy store, Bret's shirtless. He's fucking fuming. He's got red cheeks.
No, I've never ever. Listen, I have 2 rules. The 2 things that I don't discuss people. Number 1 is like religion. Whatever you believe. But if you're going to sit there and tell me, that you're going to discount Joe Montana, and a Tom Brady debate, then yeah, we're going to get into it.
I think your next show is going to be some sort of sports-oriented debate where maybe you just look in the mirror and you're just debating yourself.
Yeah, well,
it's low cost. It's low cost.
I've literally argued with people I agreed with. All jokes aside, I think it's a regional thing. Last night we were at the Brick House in Wyckoff, and these guys are talking. It's like 12 knees.
Oh my God!
All these Italian guys, hands everywhere. And this guy's screaming about a piece of paper that he threw away or something that didn't get in the garbage. And everybody's just yelling. And I'm like, dude, this has got to be it's either cultural or regional, but I'm sitting with 3 other guineas, and they're like, sweet. What are you talking about?
That's so funny. Yeah. My question is, how do you get your word in that, like, where do you pick your spot to get in? Because I've been around your people. I've been around you, your group. I don't have like the vocal quality to get up in there. Like, I'm like, yo, I can't yell loud enough to get in the mix. I just end up sitting back just on surrender.
Well, I don't know, man. It's just we all shout at me. I get into it's all fun, actually. To be honest with you,
it's fun.
I can debate basketball, but that's about it.
Especially with sports, we love arguing. I love arguing sports, man. I could do that shit all fucking day.
We were just talking about, we were just talking about, I was lucky enough to go to I don't know if you saw the picture, but I was at the Cavs game when they won Game 7, front row, with Gilbert. Did you see the picture?
I didn't see the picture.
I'll send you a screenshot. Fantastic. I got my beret on, sitting front row. But you think the Cavs are going to win this thing, or are they going to come back, or is it over for them?
I mean, they should win it. You know what I mean? If not, I don't understand why they're not winning it.
Lazy defense, bad defense on the Cavs.
I read some articles.
I remember LeBron was like, "Well, don't panic." All of a sudden, they're down 2 games. You know what I mean?
Right.
I mean, his teammates aren't really doing anything to help him out, so it's like LeBron and Kevin Love versus 5 people.
Yeah.
I have a theory about this. Like people compare Jordan to LeBron, which I don't know if that's a fair comparison. And again, I think Kobe has more of an argument being compared to LeBron. I mean, being compared to Jordan and LeBron, even though LeBron's there. But neither here nor there. I would say the difference, like, Jordan's arrogance in basketball, and again, they're both stellar athletes. It's just 2 sides of the same coin in a sense. But Jordan's comes more from achievement. Like, he was cut from his basketball team. I mean, he plays with passion. He had to earn everything to get to as great as he was. Where LeBron has been a physical specimen from day one.
Right.
So his arrogance comes from, I've dominated my whole life. Does that make any sense?
Yeah, that's a great point, actually. His whole life he's been the king. He's been catered to. He's gotten every call. You know what I mean? He's been able.
I mean, he's always been the man amongst boys.
He had a Hummer as a senior in high school.
Yeah.
So his cockiness, his sureness comes from the fact that I've always dominated. I'll continue to dominate. Where Jordan's was like, I've lost and now I've made myself better. I'll never lose.
Right. He comes from right.
Not saying his is more earned, but I do feel it's a lot harder when you're that much of a natural athlete. It's got to be very few challenges, that you have to face. Not saying he hasn't faced adversity, LeBron, but I think, he's starting to face it as a pro, really.
By the way, that's a great point. I wish I put that in. I co-wrote Rappaport's book, the Ranting book, and we have a chapter. We have a chapter about about LeBron, 23 reasons why you'll never be Michael Jordan. I wish we had that as a reason. That went right over our heads.
Well, he skipped college.
Yeah, not only did he skip college, he shaves his armpits. He'll never be Michael Jordan. He does all kinds of weird shit.
But Jordan's an anomaly. I mean, Jordan's a perfect storm, so to speak. It's the same thing with
Jordan did it in less time also. He had less time because LeBron's been in the league since he's 18, and Jordan started when he was 21.
Yeah.
Well, I can't believe I'm not a pro. You either, Bret. Man, we were solid athletes. You guys should have seen Bret's softball style. It's unbelievable. It's still probably the best comment ever made. Bret swings with all his childhood anger.
No, I was hitting. It's all childhood anger and shoulders.
Yo, Bret's shoulders. You never saw feet planted like this. You know what I mean? There's no pivot. There's no nothing. It's just 2 Italian feet planted in the sand, while these angry.
Well, one Italian, one German.
Right.
Both angry cultures.
And they're looking away from each other. By the way, those feet just duck feeted out. And just coming around with a solid fucking angry shoulder swing, putting it out of the park. By the way, I was surprised by Kreischer's baseball ability. Kreischer's an athlete.
Well, he's a little compact in there. It's some serious drinking. That was my uncle's favorite comment, by the way, when he came to see us in Atlantic City.
Kreischer?
He loves Kreischer.
I remember.
Kreischer, the fucking sweater on, and then he took it off. He's on stage.
He's been
just cracked him up.
20 years of shirtlessness. Yo, Kreischer took his shirt.
Do you chime in on the Brady versus Montana debate at all, or not?
No, because I'm not educated enough. I'm not enough of a fan. I mean, listen, there's no debate to me. I don't really care enough. I grew up playing sports, you know what I mean? I played baseball, hockey, and basketball my whole life. I love playing.
What's your sport? Hockey? Would you say that's your sport?
Hockey's my sport. It's my sport. I mean, I chose the sport that I wasn't even best at. I was best at baseball and basketball. I loved hockey though so much. I just went at it and I stuck with it and went not very far at all with it.
Basketball's my sport. I can't talk any other sports.
Stock tip Dave, 5'4", claims to be a great 3-point shooter.
Oh yeah, I'm lights out shooter.
Yo, but I'm still playing hockey, Brett. I'm in a men's league right now. You know what I mean? I need to get that shit out.
Are.
I need to get it out.
You're 78 years old, still batting 250.
Oh, I'm doing my wind sprints this week. I can't wait I got to sprint it out.
I wish I played. I didn't know I was good at baseball till later in life, which sucks. I just played football, and I threw some leather around my late teens and early 20s.
I threw some leather with boxing.
Yeah.
Yeah, yo, you and I never held the pads for you. I should hold the pads for you. I'll put you through a good boxing workout.
Those days are done, man. I got a torn rotator cuff. I got all kinds of joint problems now.
You got Cheetos.
Actually, keeping my hook is in tighter now, man. Because I'll still pound the bag every now and then, you know. And, I used to come wide, but since I tore the rotator cuff, I had to keep it in a little tighter and feeling a little pound. By the way, how great is Lemoncello?
Lemoncello's unbelievable, bro. Do you know his dad put him in Ukrainian dance from the time he was 4 to the time he was 13 years old? He was a dancer.
Yeah, my buddy made a point. He's like, you know what? He goes, if this kid, after 12 fights, you can still make the argument. I mean, he can make the Hall of Fame because of what he's done in so little time. But he had like 300 and something amateur fights. But the movement on this kid is just so precise.
Listen, I'll admit it. After I saw Lomachenko fight and I heard that he took Ukrainian dance, I went to 3rd Street Dance and I got a pamphlet.
What?
I got a brochure on dance classes. On my life, bro, I'm going to take a dance class to get my footwork back, just for stage and the periodic sparring sessions that I have. I'm taking dance.
Why is Mike dancing and telling jokes?
Well, you might be the only guy in the class, though.
Oh, good.
Mike, what? You're 59 years old. Why would you even think about taking it? For what footwork? For what?
Let me tell you something,
Brett.
Brett.
The speed bag again for the 100,000th time on Facebook?
You love. By the way, you love my speed bag work. I can't find a heavy bag angle. I gotta find a place to put the camera for when I hit the heavy bag. I love boxing, bro. You know that. I love it. It's my favorite workout.
And you're the best out of the ring fighter there ever was.
Ever lived. There's nobody better.
Undefeated.
Brett, what's your opinion on this, right? So, you know, like 7-8 years ago, right? You know, I came up with you in stand-up. We were doing it all the time together. I was on the road with Rogan. I was on the road with Russell. I was doing my thing with the Young Americans, comedy. Then I got sidetracked in a very positive, and I'm not saying anything down about this.
You got sidetracked by being successful.
Yeah, I got.
You're the only guy I know of that is author of books, directors, writers of movies, and still getting 1 o'clock spots.
Is it unfucking believable? Who do I need to kidnap? What is going on? Nobody cares. That's the thing about the Comedy Store. They don't care if you made a movie. They don't care if you directed another movie. And I got another one coming out, and I think I got an 8 o'clock spot tomorrow. I think I'm opening the OR. I got fucking,
listen, dude, I know for a fact that Adam, it is so hard right now for him. And not only that, he's doing, and I'm not just saying this, he put 2 shows together, which were selling out both shows, thank God.
Yeah.
But he put these 2 shows together every night so that guys that he wants to book that aren't famous, that they can get spots.
Right. No, I know it's a tough, listen, I know he's got a tough spot.
I mean, you made the cut. There's about 100 comics that were working when we were working that got cut. That don't even get spots.
Right. No, I'm
So
listen.
If he's giving you 8 o'clocks, I mean,
I'm not
just
complaining.
take it. I mean,
I
told him, I said, look, dude, just give me OR, man. As many as possible. I love the OR. I like the OR better than the main room. The main room check is way better. But the OR to me is
the best
I feel
space.
more at home in that room, man.
Of course. It's the best room in the world. It beats you up. It gets you. That's the original room at the Comedy Store is what grinding it out in that room. And then when Joe Rogan took me on tour, I made the direct connection of I've been in a war zone for so long, and then when I went on the road with Rogan to a packed house of people that wanted to laugh and were paying money.
Dude, it's so much.
Bro.
It's like swinging. It's like warming up with 15 donuts on your back.
For real. It was like butter.
And then getting up to the plate, and it's slow pitch hardball, underhand pitching.
No, that's a great analogy, man. It was like the craziest feeling, and I remember distinctly having that moment of going, "Oh my God, this is butter. This is what it's supposed to be." The Comedy Store works you out, beats you up good, and sends you out to just go be great in your fight. It's a special place,
Listen,
man.
It's way harder to make 5 people laugh than it is to make 500 laugh.
Absolutely.
And on top of that, being in that room, you start to develop your own style. Like for me, I always tried to make. I don't want to. Like comedy's not in the presentation; it's in the conversation. And when you're able to connect with an audience, the only way you can learn how to connect with an audience is to connect with an empty room. If you could connect with an empty room, I know it sounds crazy to people.
Yeah.
You learn how to connect with more people. Now the bigger now, once you start getting in front of thousands of people, then like if you have 70 people talking, it can become disruptive. Now it's a whole other level.
Yeah.
It's a whole other different way of doing it.
Yep.
Where it's much harder to connect because you're not going to get 3,000 people quiet.
You've been headlining on your own for so long. Did you ever go with Russell and do one of those like 15,000 seaters? Did you ever go on one of them? Okay.
No, I mean, what I did, I was doing theaters, when, especially when we did the Vince Vaughn tour.
Wild West.
But for me, like my biggest crowds by myself that I've ever drawn was 700.
That's a beautiful number, man. 700. Yo, 700. You get to 1,000. It's like a different rhythm, man. It's like there's like this little mini There's like a mini wave coming back at you, and you have to actually. Bret? Are you conscious of changing your pace when the laughs take longer to get at you? Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, it's weird. It does throw your timing off, but. In the beginning, I had that problem, but after a while, I mean, I started. It's weird, man. I've always worked for myself, like my own. I've always tried to develop my own style, so to speak, and what works best for me, like, which is similar, but it's different. Like in acting,
right?
I wasn't good in acting class. Not that I don't play well with others. I don't have patience with listening to other people. Use it as therapy. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yep. That makes sense.
I want to work. I have an athlete's mentality. I don't want to hear, "Oh, that was awesome." I want to hear, "Look, this is what you did wrong."
Right.
And I like to. I'm not competing. I'm competing against myself, so to speak. So what I started doing, because with acting, there's a lot of things that are involved. There's listening. You got to know where you want to be, but you have to have thoughts behind your actions. And, you have to, I tend to be an intense guy, so I have to be a little bit more subtle if I'm doing film. You know what I mean? And you could be shooting, the climax the first week of the film.
Yep.
And then, you just got to know where your character's at. There's a lot involved.
Absolutely.
You can work those on stage. And what happens is, and then I found myself as a comic, having a certain timing, a certain rhythm, and the rhythm, I would say something, and then I would be used to a laugh there, and then I would feel that rhythm and go to something else. And I know you know what I'm talking about.
Oh yeah.
So when you start performing in front of crowds where the laughter rolls, I took the acting aspect into it. Oh, by the way, I do a coach. I don't do a class. I like the one-on-one.
Right.
I've done that. I took what I was doing now is I was actually listening. I stopped breaking rhythm. I had to break my rhythm. I had to break my patterns.
Yeah, isn't that
and by doing that, it's just listening on stage.
It's funny, man. It's an uncomfortable moment when the laughs are coming at you and you don't want to talk over them. There's a specific time that you can start talking, right? It's like at the tail end of their laugh is when you start again to talk.
Well, I would say the only thing, and the best way to train that too, like you can't really do what I just said as a middle, unless you're going to do 10 minutes worth of material in a 15-minute set, or 15 and within 20. But when you got the whole hour and a half to fill, or I usually do an hour and 15.
Yeah.
It's so much easier to take your time.
Right.
So, this is, if you're, and that's where the training really comes into play, is when you start headlining and you start going to different places and different venues. And, look, I only need 1% of America to like me, and I'm good.
Yep.
If I could get 1%,
yeah.
I can retire or buy an island.
I think you're gonna get. Yeah, I mean, I think you're like you're gonna have your following, bro. There are people who feel the way you feel in this world. They may not have your argumentative skills, but they're with you. I think you're gonna. I think you're good,
Mikey. I'm working clean now. I don't do any political stuff. I'm not really a political guy. More so as
I don't even mean that. I'm not even talking about your.
No, but I meant I for me, I feel like everything is so divisive now. And everything has been heard. Both sides have been heard over and over again. When we first started, it was different. We were getting here. Everything, like I tended to be more vocal about things on stage because I thought people weren't.
Right.
But now I think because of social media and everything, it's like, fuck it. You can, now it's almost like and I'm not even kidding, I'll record it tonight and play it for you. Before I start my shows, I tell everybody, don't worry, I don't do politics, so we're gonna have fun tonight, and everybody claps. It's almost like when a band goes, don't worry, I don't have a new album. We're gonna be doing all of our old stuff, and everybody's all happy. Nobody wants to hear the new shit.
So are all your bits like personal experiences, or what? Where do you get your bits from?
By the way, Stock Tip Dave will throw an interruption and a left field question that's just disjointed. So just bear with him.
I love it. I think it's a great question. I like to be personal, man. I like to tell personal stories, talk about, I like to make fun of my tragedies or things that I've experienced. That's what my special is basically. That's why I released it for free online. I literally shot it, released it for free, built out a website for it. I was getting too many notes from too many people.
Oh, no.
This may not work. This might not work. The only notes that really helped me with it was Neil Brennan, and Neil was like, dude, because Neil understood more of the structure than the critiquing of, well, maybe you shouldn't say this or that. He's like, no, keep it under this amount. You could cut this, because he's a real comic. He's a real stand-up. Whereas, I was getting notes from other people, and every note was different, and I was just like, you know what? Fuck this, man.
Who were you getting notes from? Other comics? Like, were you putting up your hour and then getting notes on your hour, that type of thing?
No, not other comics. It was more
executive.
I don't want to, without getting into the process of it.
Right.
It was other people were giving me notes.
Right.
And then I just said, I'm not going to put myself through this. I know I shot it once. It's more in a one-man show format.
Yeah.
In stand-up. You know what I mean? Because it's a personal story. If I could do it over again, I would have done 2 shows. But it's done, it's out, and I'm on to the next one, and it's the way I wanted to do it.
Yep.
Even though it's not perfect, but it's pretty interesting, man. I've been getting, dude. I'll be honest with you, man. I've been getting great feedback from it.
Yeah, man.
Like, really strong. People have been hitting me up for interviews and stuff.
You've always gone personal, bro. Ever since I've known you, you were never like just a straight. You've never been a straight political. You maybe dabbled in politics in your act back in the day, but you've always come with real stories, and I think that's a testament to a real comic. At least the comics I like to watch. You know what I mean? And I remember isn't it funny how like a few tidbits of advice will stick out forever if somebody says something? Like 10 years ago, Chappelle said one thing that I always remember. He's like, I always drop myself in the middle of everything I'm talking about. Like that just stuck with me. It's like, no matter what I'm finding funny, I drop myself in the middle of that, come from that personal experience. I always took that from him. And then Neil one time came up to me and he was like, man, funny shit, man. Funny shit. You know what you should do, though? Speed up the way you talk. Speed it up like 0.5. Like, turn it up a notch. And I didn't really get what he was kind of saying other than just simply speed it up. And I simply sped it up. And I was like, this motherfucker's got a point. Like, for some reason, I was just talking a little slower and whatever, but when I sped it up and put a little more energy into it, it actually changed the dynamic of what was going on. It was great advice.
You bringing your music back to your act or what?
I stopped cursing, man. I don't curse on stage.
Good.
This next set, the next set I'm doing is going to be so clean.
You know what's funny, Brett?
You know?
I swear to God, bro, I was going to tell you a couple of years ago, because you're so damn good. You're so great without the, like, you don't need it. You just don't need it, but it's your defense. It was your defense mechanism for whatever reason.
It's just how, you know what it was? I always had the goal that I would be the guy on stage that I was off stage. So, like, if me and you were having a conversation, I'd be like, I wanted to be like, yo, hold on a second. Let me go. And then just go up and continue that conversation as if I was with you, then get off and then finish the conversation. And what was happening is I was becoming too relaxed.
Right.
And, you know, and I'm negating the art. It's still a performance. And just because when I'm with my boys and, you know, we're hanging out and I'm like this effing guy, FF, and they don't really care. And, you know, I ended up cursing too much. I had to stop cursing off stage so I wouldn't curse on stage. And when I was editing my special, I'm like, God, why is there every other word? And then I'm like, I'm too comfortable.
Was there a lot of?
It's almost like you know, you're in a relationship and you get too comfortable with each other.
Yeah, that's why I'm.
Stop being romantic, and you stop. You know, she's not dressing up, and you know, you just stop. You just get comfortable. That comfortability could sometimes be a detriment. And I started realizing that I'm not respecting
the craft.
I'm not respecting the performance as much. I was more into, like, it would be like being the dopest freestyle lyricist, but, you know, your beats suck, or you know, you're missing an aspect of the performance.
I can't believe how strong your analogies are today. You're 4 for 4. That's a great analogy. That's a great analogy. Being the greatest freestyle. It's a lot easier
to listen to me when I'm not yelling.
Yo, I gotta catch you more like fresh off a nap. I gotta catch you fresh out the nap game. No, but but that's so true, man. You gotta respect the tension of it. Like, you gotta. It's a performance. You're up there in front of people. You can't just be so cool and so relaxed. You know, that's a great point, man. You gotta keep it tight. No, Dave, you'd have a tough time.
I gotta sing Mike's praises. Remember when I was headlining Stand Up Live, and I think you came in for a performance. Were you doing the not the Onion? What's it called? The Chive? Did you do the Chive show with us?
I feel like maybe I did. That sounds familiar. It was at Stand Up Live. Or were you opening for me? Like, because I just think you were there one night. I don't think you were there with me the whole weekend. Or were you with me the whole weekend? Oh, no, I think I was with you the whole weekend. I think you did. You took me.
Yes, you were.
Yeah.
That's right. You tilted. You ordered some broccoli.
I killed it.
No, he killed it. No, I remember, I forgot who was there, but it's just about the set. And I go, I said, watch this kid. I mean, meanwhile, a kid, you're 78 years old. So I go watch this guy, and it's 20 minutes of just precision butchery. I go, this is who I think it was the manager, because they're like, is he funny? I said, you don't know who that is? He opens with sagging all the time, and I just go, watch this, and they were like, Jesus! It was just, dude, it was one of your sets. Thanks. You hadn't been drinking.
Yep.
You were fresh out of bed. You were on one of your cleanses. I can always see when your cheeks are rosy. I know it's going to be a good set.
Yo, fresh. I was just.
No, you destroyed that. There was one show in Scottsdale, and I was in Arizona. I'm like, oh my God! And then the next thing you know, I'm taking photos with you and four broccolis.
Yeah,
like, this kid is out of control.
Yeah, I've had I appreciate that, Brett. That's funny, man, because now you're bringing back full circle what I was saying in the very beginning. And comedy is my love, man. Like, I know that the movie stuff has paid bills and it's done some really cool things, and I love it. I do. I love directing. It's a great, it's its own like energy force. It's its own thing. I dig it. But like, I am fiending right now, like, to get back into the groove of stand-up because of like what you just said. You know what I mean? Like, I've got it in me to have a great special, and I want to get it out. And what I was going to ask you is,
got it in you. You've been doing it 20 years. Go
right?
ahead.
No, but what I'm saying is,
what were you going to ask me?
I'm trying to ask. There was the 7-8 year chunk of this movie stuff that's happened, and I wasn't in my rhythm of doing stand up. And what I was going to say is, if I do an hour, or when I do my hour special, do you think it's okay to bring some of those old bits back that only you and my 9 friends know, that no one else has ever fucking seen? Because
Absolutely. That should have been out already. Yes, absolutely. I was going to say.
That's what I wanted to know.
You've got 2 hours worth of material.
Yeah.
And about an hour and 45 of that, no one has ever seen.
No one's seen except 7 models in Miami and Bret and Sebastian in Royal Oak. Nobody.
No, I'm dead serious, buddy. I'm dead serious. I mean, look, there's certain things that are age appropriate. So
of course.
But it's still where you're at.
Like, I'm not like I'm.
It's still where you're at in your life.
Yeah, like, so I'm like. Go ahead.
Like, for instance, if I'm married now and I couldn't be going clubbing and listening to techno that I did when I was a 7 to 10 year comic. But your shit's evergreen, bro.
Evergreen. Wow, maybe that's the name of the album. And I just pose with a tree behind me.
You might get sued by Barbra Streisand.
Oh man, yo. Anyway, I appreciate you being complimentary, man. And I'm trying to, I talked to Ari the other night. And Ari's like, yo, in New York, I get up 20 times a week. And I'm like,
listen, you've got the capabilities. You could direct the fucking thing yourself.
Direct my own special.
Just put a film crew together. There's no reason in today's day and age that you can't do what I did. People were criticizing me. They're like, why don't you sell it? Why? Because I can't own it. Why don't you put it out and try? I didn't even try and shop it after a while. I mean, I went lower level in the beginning.
Yep.
Got a Mickey Mouse offer, but then I'm like, screw this. I'm going. I wanted to do it for free anyways. I set it up. If they want to own it, they can buy it. If they want to add them on my email list, they can add themselves. If they want to buy a shirt, they can buy a shirt. But they don't have to do anything, just to watch it. And the reason for that is I've been doing it too long and put too much time into it, and I don't need permission to exist in anybody's world. Does that make any sense?
That makes 100% sense.
So for you, bro, I forgot we're recording. I feel like I'm just talking to you.
Yeah,
but for you, people need to know what you do and what your passion is, and it should be out there online. And if you can't sell it, who fucking cares?
Yeah.
Just bury it. Get it out there, man. Chop it up. Make it go viral. This is why the internet is the greatest thing that ever happened for comics.
Yo, bro, that's
because the gatekeepers can't say this is who's the best, and nobody knows that people like you exist.
It's unbelievable.
Or Sebastian. I mean, Sebastian made the Forbes list. He's not even on television.
It's unbelievable. It's such a crazy world. So I'm going to shoot my special. That's 100% fact. Like,
I'm going to help you with it, dude. I'm going to help you with it.
Thanks, Bret.
No, I'm serious. I'll help you with it. Just give me about $100 grand, and then we'll make it. No, I'm serious. Just I'll help you with it. Like, it's not even done. I was suggesting that to you anyway. There's no bullshit. It's not as hard as you think it is.
Right.
We got to get the right venue.
Yep.
And we can do this, man. It's easy.
Maybe we do it in L.A. or Detroit, my hometown, or somewhere. You know what I mean? We'll talk about it. But I want you to help me with it, man, because I want to do it. I'm not kidding. I want it done by before the new year. Like, I want to have my special in the can. And I need to know that I'm gonna do something like that, because it puts me in this certain mind frame where I'm already in shape, but I want to be practicing my act every night. I want to be getting in shape. I want to get physically ready for that fight and just put it out.
Hey, can I tell you one more thing it'll do?
Yeah.
Once you've got it out there, you'll be forced to not do it ever again.
Great point. So you're saying I can.
The reason why you keep doing that stuff is because nobody knows it.
It's unbelievable.
Yeah.
I changed my over 25, under 25. All I did was change it to over 30, under 30. If I don't get this special out, it's just going to go on for years and years. Over 40, under 40, over 50, under 50. I'm just going to keep growing. You know what I mean? By the way, I've had Russell back. Well, I'm not. I forget. I was going to say, like, Russell loved when I did the over 25, under 25 bit. You know that bit, right? Yeah.
That's a great bit.
You know what I mean? And it was Russell. We were on the road. He's like, "Listen, I'll give you 7,000 for that bit." I go, "Russell, if you give me $1 million, I'll never tell another joke again. I'll retire right now, but for $7,000, you ain't getting the bit."
No, the one joke I would buy off of you if I could is when you're like, you ever have that one friend that takes everything too far? When
Yeah.
Yeah, let's toilet paper that front yard. Yeah, let's kidnap your fat fucking dad and hold him, man. What?
That joke still kills everywhere. I've tagged. Thank God I've added on a lot to it. But yeah, thanks. Yo, Brett,
If you don't, wait, Mike, if you don't put out your special soon, your jokes are gonna be like, "There's two types of women, over 65 over 65, got great grandkids. They
sleep all day. You know what I
watching
mean?
Matlock, but under 65,
Get
they
your-
can play shuffleboard."
Get your teeth out of the glass. Take them out of here. I'm not washing your teeth. Get those teeth out of here. Oh, man.
But listen, cuz I gotta bounce, man. I gotta go somewhere.
Yo, go ahead. Bret Ernst is right now on YouTube Red, starring in the show Cobra Kai.
Oh, I love that. I saw
And
the whole
also
show.
check out my special. Go to BretComedy.com.
Brett
Watch
Comedy.
it for free.
All right, BretComedy.com. You check him out on
Mike, have
Cobra
you watched it yet?
Cobra Kai?
It's awesome. It's like
No, the special.
No, I'll watch it tonight. I haven't watched it.
Just breeze through it so you see the shots, what the set looks like,
Okay.
and then we can talk budget, and I'll tell you what I did it for, and we can make that work for you, no problem, man.
All right, I appreciate it. I
I'll
appreciate
just
it.
take 10%.
You got it. And I'll just I'll put you in the next movie. Finally, playing yourself.
I binge watched Cobra
Yeah,
Kai
yeah,
in
you
like
can
one
finally
day.
give me an under 5 on one of your.
Yo, by the way, no, we'll
fucking
go.
scumbag.
We'll go out on this note because this is just a testament to what comedians are like. When I shot a stand-up guy on my life, I called Brett. Brett, I gotta.
You
yo,
called me the
no,
day before.
No.
And you're like, can you be in New York? I'm like, what are you talking
It
about?
wasn't the day
I'm
before.
On the road. I can't break a contract.
Bro, my point is,
Or-
comedians are the hardest people to get a hold of. When I did My Man Is a Loser, I called Joey Diaz. I called a couple other dudes. Nobody was calling me back. They called me back a week later.
I'm sure.
A week
listen,
later,
I gotta
they-
go, man. I gotta be downstairs in 10 minutes. I'm tired of this.
Love you, buddy.
My whole fucking my whole hotel room smells like bullshit. But I love you.
Love you. Bret Ernst,
All right, love you.
comedy. Later, buddy. Bye.
Later, stock tip, Dave.
Later, see you later.
BretComedy.com. Go check it out.
BretComedy.com. Later.
All right, love you, man.
Love you, buddy.
See you guys later.
That's my dog.
So
Bro.
I saw every episode of Cobra Kai. Now I'm trying to figure out which character he was in it. Because I binge watched the whole
He's
thing.
the
in,
uncle.
The uncle.
He plays an uncle. Have you seen it?
I've watched every episode and
You've seen every episode of Cobra Kai and you don't recognize Brett.
no.
You got to look at him again. That was great, man. Solid 1 hour. Bret Ernst. Go to, what do you say? BretComedy.com. Bro, we had so many fun times, man. It's like,
Oh, yeah,
like I said 100 times. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, I think he was the one that was playing the jokes on everybody. Like I think he burned the car, blew up the car.
In Cobra Kai?
Yeah,
Probably. He's like a funny uncle, I heard. I haven't seen the show.
I know which one he is now.
And I got to see his special. But it's funny, man. I didn't have a crew until I got with the Comedy Store in LA. I was a lone wolf, bro. A lone soldier. And the comedy community, it's not always loving community. It's a weird community. It's a competitive community sometimes. But me and my boys, me, Brett, Sebastian, Tony Rock, Butch, our crew, there was Bobby Lee. There was no competition bullshit. It was like a crew of dudes, and it's why I always said, man, and I'm gonna do this for these guys, like with these guys for all of us. But like, we don't need permission to exist. You know what I mean? I'm in front of 10, 15, 20 great minds of comedy. I'm going to write something cool, independent, and that doesn't cost a lot and make it the funniest shit you've ever seen because the funniest people are in it. And I'm going to put that thing out and watch it be a banger. You know?
At the Comedy Store or where?
I don't know. No, I'm going to shoot it. I'm going to shoot an indie film, and I'm just going to pepper it with the funniest comics and just make it a ridiculous comedy. And if you watch old movies, like the old Mel Brooks movies, he had his whole crew in there. Carl Reiner and Mel Brooks and like Sid Caesar and like his whole funny crew. It was just, his movies were just peppered with these funny dudes, and it's like
That's what Sandler does.
It's exactly what Sandler does. And those are his boys. You know what I mean? And I really want to be the one in our crew that does it. And I'm in position to do it, and I'm going to do it. You know, it's just, you know, I don't know how some of these guys, like I look at Apatow, it's like, I don't know how he gets a documentary done. He does an hour comedy, then he goes and directs a movie, then he goes and writes another one. I think he has a little maybe more brain space available than I do. I got a good amount, but like I think I'd either need to do some more meditation or whatever just to crack open some more brain space to do, because it takes a lot of energy out of you just to do all that. But it was great talking to Bret. Comedy's where my heart is. I'm shooting my special 100% before the new year. I just need to figure out where it's going to be, and you know, it's going to be all good. And we can almost wrap this up, Dave. It's been a little over an hour. You got anything you want to talk about? Anything you were going to say? We were going to have a Stock Tip Dave recap moment. Were we?
I think we ran out of time.
Did we? We call him Stock Tip Dave, but I put him on the spot at the Comedy Store the other day. We put him on camera for a stock tip. He didn't have one. Get your tips straight.
Hey, it was like 12:30 at night, a few drinks. So
I'm gonna get you more organized, bro, and you got to change your handwriting.
And actually, I got a stock. Actually, while we were on the show, I got a text message from some friends, and the Canadian weed stocks I'm always mentioning.
Back up.
Skyrocketed.
Did it?
Yeah.
Which one? The one that was at $4?
That one went up a little bit, but the one that I got at $11 is now at $27.
No way.
Yeah, went up like $3 today.
Next time you tell me, buddy, about those things when they're going down, because I know that one went down. Everyone was sad.
Yeah, they're still down, but they're recovering a little bit now.
So I wonder if I should buy in at 27.
Well, that one about at 11 at 27. I don't know how high that's gonna go, but the other ones are still $5, $9, like $11.
Really? All right, I'm going in on it. Anyway, Mike Young, stories that need to be told. Stock Tip Dave, our guest Bret Ernst. Thanks for having him. Go check BretComedy.com. Find me on Instagram at @TheRealMikeYoung. Find Stock Tip Dave at Stock Tip Dave. Our man Aaron, thanks for taking the time, buddy, and putting this all together. All things comedy. We're out.